The 2-1 St. Louis Dragons look to add to the win column here today as we've got week 4 on the road in Seattle against the Seahawks. Only one game in today's episode, but should still be a fun one. Currently, we are 2-1. We have alternated wins and losses so far this year. In the last episode, splitting against the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams. And after our home game against the Rams, we only have one more home game until like week 12. We also play against the Rams next week, and we actually play all 3 division teams on the road in consecutive weeks, which should be quite interesting. There's only 4 3-0 teams. The league doesn't feel super top-heavy, with us in Seattle not too far behind at 2-1, with the winner taking first place of the division. Let's do a check-in on our QB1, Puma Whitlock, who's gotten off to a pretty solid start this year. He hasn't necessarily lit the league on fire, but he's been pretty good. Obviously, the storyline with him is his contract. He's on the last year of his deal. He's a free agent at the end of the season. We had him gain some extra weight, so he would be less injury-prone. And I think it's about time we start talking contract extension with Puma Whitlock. I know there are people who seem to think that not paying Puma is the best way to go, but I just can't see it. As we stand now, I think we're in a good spot financially because Simeon Bonnet is the only albatross contract we have on our roster, not counting Puma Whitlock, who's already making over $60 million on the 5th-year option. So it is going to be an increase in salary, but not a substantial one because he's not on his rookie deal per se anymore. Obviously, Puma Whitlock is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He would have won the MVP in Season 3 had he not gotten injured at the end of the season. 3-time Pro Bowler, Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and I think it would be foolish not to pay him. In terms of the young quarterbacks who have been added to the league in this series, the only other guy who's made as much of an impact as him is Callaghan October. The next highest rated quarterback here is like an 84. So in other words, the QBs throughout the draft classes in this series have not come into the league and really been great early on. Puma Whitlock was the 2nd overall pick. Callaghan October was the 1st overall pick. In other words, it's not easy to get a player like that. So we're going to offer Puma Whitlock a 7-year deal, $55 million per season, our first contract offer for Puma, and ultimately he would end up saying no. No fear, we've got plenty of time, it's week 4, but he's not going to accept our first deal for 7 years, and again, a whole lot of money, north of $375 million. So let's take a look at the Seattle Seahawks, who are coming off a win against the Packers. They've got a couple close wins with Green Bay and San Francisco, but also got blasted in week 2 by the Chargers. Of course, last year, the Seahawks snuck into the playoffs with a 3rd-string quarterback having to play. Luckily for them, there's no Zach Wilson this year. Tyler Nguyen is back healthy and is the starting quarterback here for the Seahawks. Nguyen, a 2nd-round pick, has turned into quite the player so far with Seattle, and he's been even more efficient than he was as a rookie. The yards and touchdown numbers are low, but he's been really solid up to this point. Obviously, Seattle has a strong run game with Kenneth Walker. I don't think we realize how good of a player Kenneth Walker is. He's legitimately been one of the best players in the NFL over the last 5 years, and as we know, he always plays us tough and generally performs really well against our defense. DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Reggie Burnham lead the way in terms of the receiving corps. Tariq Woolen is gone, but they've still got Devin Witherspoon, and they've still got a strong pass rush, including a new fancy contract extension for former top pick Roanzo Sanders. So with that, we will hop into this game. The 2-1 Dragons and the 2-1 Seahawks playing for first place within the division. As I've said throughout this series, I feel like Seattle, by far, within our division, gives us the toughest matchups. We generally take care of business against the 49ers and the Rams every year, but Seattle always gives us issues, especially on the road. I'll also point out that it feels like every time we play in Seattle, the game is in prime time. So it's nice having a day game in Seattle for once, because I feel like every time we're in Seattle, it's on prime time. Should be a fun one here as the top of the NFC West looks to battle it out for first place. We'll see if the Dragons can look to gain control of the division that they've won 2 years in a row, or if it'll be Seattle who's able to take an early season lead. Here's Kenneth Walker to the outside, losing too early. Samasoni Saluni fired up as he brings him down for a loss of 2. Second and 12 now for Seattle. Nguyen looks to throw it, goes downfield. He's got DK Metcalf wide open. Metcalf had about 4 or 5 steps on the corner, and take a guess who that was in coverage. Cam Lucifer, who's been abysmal through the first 3 weeks of the year. That's not exactly encouraging. Nguyen on the run, goes short for Metcalf, who breaks a tackle and has it to the 28-yard line. So far, so good for Seattle. Nguyen 4 for 4 in the air, as it's now a 2nd and 10 for the Seahawks. Nguyen fakes the handoff. It's play action. Looking downfield, he's got DK Metcalf, who brings it into the red zone. Metcalf played really well in these two teams meeting in Seattle last year, albeit he was playing against door dashers at corner. But Cam Lucifer, to be fair, has looked like a door dasher out there. Simeon Bonnet flying into the backfield for a sack on 2nd and goal. Bonnet had a big game last week with 3 sacks, and he gets one early today. 3rd and goal now from the 16. Nguyen looks to throw it under pressure, looking to escape the pocket, on the run, and he will throw it away as he's nearly sacked again by Bonnet. So with that, the Seahawks are going to have to kick. Not a great drive defensively for the Dragons, but they're able to hold up in the red zone, and Seattle's only going to get 3. Nearly blocked by Barber. He got a jump off the snap, but is unable to block it. The kick is good, and so it is 3-0. Dragons with it for their first drive of the game. 3rd and 1 here for St. Louis as Puma Whitlock pitches it to the outside, and Darwin Juskins is slammed to the ground for a loss of 6 by the rookie out of Virginia Tech, Johnny Green. Juskins, the hometown hero coming from the University of Washington, is stuffed in the backfield, leading to a punt. Nguyen on 1st down, looks short for his lot receiver, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who gets it to the 43-yard line. Seattle's been really efficient on offense. Nguyen is not missing throws. He looks really sharp so far. 2nd and 7, pretty much everybody's in motion. Nguyen under center, it's a play action. Scrambles to the left, downfield, he's got an open man, it's Sky Moore. Looking to take it all the way. He's wrapped up at the 9 by Jalen Bourgeois. A huge gain for Sky Moore. And now it's 3rd and goal. Seattle was unable to punch it in their first red zone trip. Looking to do so here, and they will. Noah Fant pushed into the end zone by Lucifer for the touchdown. And the Seattle Seahawks will add to the lead. It's 10-0. So already the Dragons have to play from behind as Juskins gets it up the middle. Good run for Darwin Juskins. He gets around 10. And that'll go for a Dragons first down. Their first of the entire game. The offense has barely gotten a chance with the ball. Seattle has dominated time of possession as it's Juskins again up the middle with another first down as the guard JT Robinson is hurt on the play, and he would actually break his collarbone. A huge loss for the Dragons, being that he's an important starter. He's made some nice plays this year. That's likely a multi-week injury. 2nd and 11. Puma surveys the field, goes up the middle for Amarian Cephas. He gets the first down, bringing it to the 24. And now the offense appears to finally be in a little bit of the rhythm as we move into the 2nd quarter. The Dragons now in the red zone. Puma Whitlock calling an audible here on 2nd and 1. It looked like they were originally going for a run, but with the stacked box, he's going to throw it. Puma looking for room up the middle. Scrambling on the run. He's got J-Mo! Jamison Williams with the touchdown. And the Dragons are on the board. What a play there by Puma Whitlock, navigating through the offensive line. The center and the right guard are able to create a hole for him to escape, go through the defense, and fire a bullet for Williams. It's now 10-7. Nguyen is sacked by Malachi Weston for a loss of 7. Weston coming over as a free agent from New Orleans, had a strong training camp, and he's really carried it over to the regular season. He's been a really pleasant surprise. 3rd and long. Nguyen slammed to the ground by Simeon Bonnet. Back-to-back sacks for the defense. Bonnet with his 2nd of the game. He's now got 5.5 sacks on the season, 5 of which have come since the start of last week. Dragons back with it. 3rd and 6. Puma looking to run with it. He keeps it this time, and he fumbles it! And it's picked up by Seattle. The former Dragon, Trenton Simpson, is there with the force, and Zion Onyologwu is there with the recovery. A big play by Simpson, who was a rotational linebacker last year for the Dragons, forcing the turnover against his old squad, and the Seahawks with a big defensive play. It seemed like the Dragons were starting to get a little bit of momentum, and that's instantly zapped off the turnover. Simeon Bonnet's in the zone, though, and he is in the backfield again. Bonnet with his third sack of the game. And we still have 7 minutes left in the first half. Simeon Bonnet is taking over right now. And Tyler Nguyen has had a rough day, just getting slammed in the backfield. 3rd and 20. Bonnet chasing after another hit for Bonnet. He nearly got his 4th sack. Nguyen is able to get rid of it, though. And that'll lead to a Seahawks punt. What a drive for Bonnet. As here's Jamison Williams on the RPO. Down the field. He brings it to the 40-yard line. Puma Whitlock has been efficient. 6 of 8, 73 yards. Even though the offense hasn't really been able to move down the field, he has been pretty good. 3rd and 10. Puma on the run, hoping somebody gets open. And he throws it in the dirt, looking for Milan Santa. Good coverage by Andrew Booth and company. And the Dragons would ultimately punt it, looking to pin Seattle back deep. And they'll get him at the 11. Kenneth Walker on first down, loses 3. Trajan Bly-Shinden and Owen Popo bring him down. Kenneth Walker has 4 carries today for 0 yards. Seattle has not been able to run the ball at all. 2nd and 13, it's caught by Metcalf. Cam Lucifer actually covered him that time, but it doesn't matter. DK still comes down with it for the first down, and arguably more importantly, Simeon Bonnet taken out of the zone. 3rd and 7, up the middle, the win with a strike for a first down over to Noah Fant, who had the touchdown earlier for Seattle. And they're back in business here with under 3 to go in the half. 2nd and 10 now from the 39. It's a pitch for Walker, and he is body slammed to the ground for a loss of 4. Take a guess. It's Simeon Bonnet who brings him down. His 4th tackle for loss of the game. Last week, Aaron Donald had 10 TFLs against the Dragons. That's got to be some kind of record. And Simeon Bonnet is chasing said record right now. 3rd and 14. Nguyen on the run. Incomplete. He has to throw it away. That was DJ Orleans with the pressure. The Dragons' pass rush has been relentless today. Their run defense has been fantastic as well. The front 7, the defensive line in particular, has been on another level. Short throw, hauled in by Colin Robinson. He's out of bounds at the 40. That'll stop the clock with only 31 seconds left. Now the Dragons do have all 3 timeouts. Now they're down to 2. As it's a 3rd and 5. Puma looks to throw it. Under a little pressure, and it's broken up. Amarian Cephas, the intended target, but it's deflected by Gunther Zimmerman. That'll bring out the field goal team. Cameron Dicker historically has really struggled here in Seattle. From 52, it is good. And this game is tied at 10. That kick did not have any issues, unlike many of Dicker's other kicks in Seattle throughout his Dragons career. And so that'll wrap up an exciting first half of football. This game tied at 10. Neither side has really been able to get control. It felt like Seattle was really dominating early with the 10-0 start, but the Dragons have certainly neutralized things. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the league. We'll start in Atlanta, a low-scoring game here that the Falcons won 14-7, with the Niners falling to 1-3. San Francisco plays against Seattle next week, and they've got us the following week. So if they want to make some noise in this division, they've got to win those games. Next up, in Las Vegas, the Chargers taking care of business so far as Justin Herbert and the Bolts lead 20-7 with this touchdown pass to Quentin Johnston. Who's got it better than them? Nobody. And finally, in the Meadowlands, the Jets beat the Rams 24-21. The Jets have been pretty solid so far with their new quarterback, Deacon Adderley, as they are now 3-1. The Rams fall to 0-4. We've got the Rams on our schedule next week after beating them last week. Could we see a quarterback change for the Rams, looking to move to rookie Gavin Hennessy? As we go into the second half, this is a close game. I imagine we're going to be throwing the ball quite a bit. And then on the inverse, the run defense has been unbelievable. Kenneth Walker is negative yards today, so we've got to focus on the pass. Tyler Nguyen has attacked the intermediate part of the field, so that's really where we've got to focus. Dragons start with it. Here's Mixon. Woo! Nice little juke move. He brings it to the 46-yard line. A good run for the veteran running back, Joe Mixon, continuing to show that he's still got something left in the tank. 3rd and 8. Here's Puma Whitlock under pressure from the interior, looking to throw it, and it is incomplete. Trying to get it to Milan Santa, who was open. And Puma Whitlock now has only completed 50% of his passes. He started the game 6 of 8, but is just 4 of 12 since. That'll bring out the punt team. Presley Harvin looks to pin him deep. And this one will bounce in the end zone and then bounce out of bounds. Seattle just dodged a major bullet. If that ball was a couple yards in, the Seahawks are starting at like the 5. 3rd and 3. Kenneth Walker does not get the first down. He's met by Penultimo Barahona, and the run defense continues to dominate. Kenneth Walker still has negative yards. The run defense has been on another level. 2nd and inches, Milan Santa with a big run. Jukes away from Zimmerman. A huge gain for Santa to bring the Dragons in the red zone. Not so fast, partner. An illegal block in the back on Arturo Modelo. It's an automatic first down. Modelo's had a really quiet game. Seattle's game planned for him super well. So the Dragons are going to use other targets like Colin Robinson, who gets into the 4. So ultimately the penalty proves to be a blessing in disguise. Big play for Robinson. And now it's 1st and goal. The Dragons looking to punch it in. Mixon on the toss to the left side. He will dive in. Takes a hit. But he's in for a score. And the Dragons take the lead 17-10. Good run for Joe Mixon. And so St. Louis is ahead for the first time today with 17 unanswered points. And now Seattle looks to respond. Their offense was so good early, but they have been silenced since the end of the first quarter. They needed a big run like that for Kenneth Walker. Finally breaking off a strong gain after doing nothing through the first 2.5 quarters. Albeit, it's not entirely his fault. The run blocking has not done him any favors. Walker up the middle, breaks the tackle from Barahona, fighting forward to the 33. Where has this Kenneth Walker been all day? He looks like a new man. 2nd and 9 now. Nguyen looks to throw it, goes short. It's caught by Metcalf. Another reception allowed by Cam Lucifer as DK brings it to the 18-yard line for another Seattle Seahawks first down. It seems like the Seahawks have more of the sense of urgency here now that the Dragons have taken the lead, but Walker is going to lose yardage here. The run defense again making a play. That's Malachi Weston who leads the way, continuing his strong game and his strong season. 2nd and 11. Nguyen has an open man. It's Jackson Smith and Jigba who is pushed down at the 2. The Seahawks are right there. They can just taste it. We'll see if they can punch it in now at the 1. Not even, more like the half-yard line. 2nd and goal. Kenneth Walker, untouched, walks the red carpet. We're tied at 17. So Seattle with a big response after doing nothing but dilly-dallying on offense for a quarter and a half. They respond, and we're knotted up. 3rd and 3. Puma Whitlock up the middle. Runs for a first down to the 44, and that'll wrap up the third quarter. Neither side budging. Both teams trade off touchdowns, and we're knotted up at 17 going into the fourth. Puma on the run, goes short for Arturo Modelo. He gets the first down to the 44. I think Seattle's done a great job with Modelo, keeping multiple defenders by him. Devin Witherspoon in particular has done a great job. And now Modelo is injured after a gain of 2. Shouldn't be a serious injury, but not having Modelo on the field is a big deal. He really opens things up for the rest of the passing game, and now Seattle can focus on these other receivers. Well, they're not really focused on Amarion Cephas here. He's completely wide open and brings it to the 15-yard line. A big play out of the slot for Cephas. And now the Dragons are in the red zone looking to get the lead back. Puma's in the zone. He hands it off for Darwin Juskins, and he brings it to the 1. Unable to slither his way into the end zone, but he is close. With under 7.5 minutes to go, they can just taste it. 1st and goal. Milan Santa leaps into the end zone for a touchdown. And the young running back out of Memphis is able to put the Dragons back ahead. String music in the end zone for St. Louis. And it's 24-17. So now Seattle's going to have to respond. The same sense of urgency they had on offense on their last drive, they're going to need it again. Walker on first down is going backwards. Another tackle for loss for Simeon Bonnet. Bonnet was great last week with the 3 sacks, but he's taken it to another level this week because not only does he have 3 sacks, but he's also been unbelievable in the run game. 2nd and 11. Nguyen floats it up. It's caught downfield by Sky Moore, who brings it to the 38. I don't really know how that play worked, but it did. Moore completely fools the defensive back, and he gets the first. 5.5 to go. 3rd and 7. Pass is incomplete for Jackson Smith and Jigba. What did the Seahawks do on 4th down? Ultimately, they choose to punt it. They trust their defense to get a stop. There's still plenty of time. 5 minutes left, but we'll see how the Dragons choose to navigate this clock. They're going to start with a pass. Puma, under pressure, is sacked by the rookie Johnny Green for a loss of 13. Puma didn't want to throw the ball away. He didn't want to stop the clock, but he takes the sack. It leads to a big loss of yards, but Juskins will make up all of it and then some. A gain of 19 for Darwin Juskins. I think Seattle was expecting pass. Now, unfortunately, Juskins got hurt. Not only does that stop the clock, but the Dragons' key running back is hurt. 3rd and 4, Modelo hangs on for a first down. Nice snag by Arturo Modelo. Only his 5th catch of the game. I told you he's been quiet. 2nd and 4, Dragons are now officially chewing clock. Here's Milan Santa. Gets by defenders, has the first down to the 46. It's been a productive day here for Santa. Now with under 3 to go. Puma scrambles to the left side. Will somebody open up? No, but rushing room does as he slides to the 39. He was pushed out of bounds, which stops the clock. But still a good first down run for Puma Whitlock. The Dragons are close to field goal range too. 2nd and 8 on the run. It's Modelo who comes down with it to the 19. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. The Seahawks are now going to start to use some of their timeouts as the Dragons are a first down away from ending this game. 3rd and inches from the 9. Can they punch it in? Puma looks for the end zone, and it's incomplete for Arturo Modelo. Good coverage by Nick Sutton. 4th and inches at the 9. The responsible decision would be to kick. Make it a 2-score game. But we won't end this sucker. Milan Santa gets the first. He's trying to go down. The Seahawks wanted to push him in the end zone, but luckily he's down at the 1. The camera's spazzing out, and that'll do it. The Dragons win it 24-17. And with that, St. Louis takes first place in the NFC West, improving to 3-1 on the season. Wasn't necessarily a perfect game. We started off slow, but a win's a win. The defense looked rocky through that first quarter, but they picked it up late. The run defense was fantastic. The pass rush was really good, especially in the first half. Only 243 yards allowed for the Seattle offense. Puma Whitlock was solid, nothing spectacular, but he did enough for us to win the game. Tyler Nguyen was also solid. He was efficient, made some nice throws, but was quiet in the second half. This is the reason why we won, though. The run defense was top tier, and Milan Santa had a really good game as well. Arturo Modelo was quiet for his standards, and none of their receivers really stood out. As for the defense, what a game from Simeon Bonnet. He had 5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks, dominating in the run game. Big game as a pass rusher. No turnovers from us. Obviously, Seattle had the fumble forced by Trenton Simpson, but we haven't needed turnovers. I don't think we've gotten a defensive turnover since week 1, but we haven't needed them. So overall, a good showing from the offense. Puma Whitlock didn't have his best game, but was still good enough for us to win. And of course, we'll continue to talk contract extension with him over the next couple of weeks until hopefully he agrees to one. Our left guard, JT Robinson, will be out for the next 6 weeks. Royal Osuchua will likely be the one to replace him at guard. That's a big loss. I think Robinson's been pretty good, and his awareness has been really solid. His ability to scoop up fumbles, I know it's kind of not necessarily what you look for in offensive linemen, but he's made a lot of heads-up plays for us this year. His football IQ is clearly really good. These are your scores around the league. As for players of the week, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Elijah Wanenbasa, and of course, Simeon Bonnet, who almost won it last week, but ends up taking it home here. That'll bring us into week 5 against the 0-4 Rams. No more undefeated teams, although the Rams are one of 4 winless teams. We just played against them a couple weeks ago in week 3, winning 27-17, despite 10 tackles for loss from Aaron Donald. That's going to wrap up the episode. Next time around, we've got the last 2 games before our bye week. On the road against the Rams, on the road against the Niners. 2 big games within the division as we look to add to our lead in the NFC West. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.